Welcome to Land Academy. I'm Jack Butala.
I'm Jill DeWit.
We show you how to buy real estate for half of what it's worth.
And sell it on the internet really fast.
We are Jack and Jill,
and this is the Jack and Jill Show too.
With over 15,000 completed transactions, we're the experts at acquiring property.
Of all kinds, not just land.
For half price and flipping them for way more.
All right, let's get this show started.
Jack Butala with Jill DeWit.
Hey.
And welcome to our show today. In this episode, Jill and I talk about how to buy your dream property. What? Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landacademy.com online community. It's free.
Okay. Steve wrote, if I buy this property, do I need to keep the deed restriction, or does this go away with a new grantee? This is good.
You mind if I read this? Because it's a little bit lengthy, and I'm going to apologize in advance, but it's so important.
Okay.
Steve says, if I buy this property, do I need to keep the deed restriction, or does it go away with the new grantee? Here's the, and then this is Steve saying, I got a reply to the mailing. Hello, Steve. This is the mailing now, what he received. I believe our congregation would be interested in selling this property. However, I wanted you to be aware of a deed restriction that's been placed on it by the party that gifted the property to our church. That person is no longer living. If the property still interests you, I'll take it up at the next church council meeting. Here's a cut from the deed, cut right out of the actual deed, the document itself. ... executes this deed on behalf of grantee for the sole purposes of acknowledging the church's understanding and agreement that in consideration of this gift of the above described property from the grantor to the grantee, that the grantee will not permit cropping of trees or the sale or the use of lumber for the property herein conveyed for any purpose. It is further agreed that the property shall not be developed in any way, and that all these conditions shall run with the land. Thoughts or comments? Question mark. He's asking us.
You want to answer separately or together?
Who wants to go first?
I will.
Go.
Can't change it.
Can't change it. You can't change it. You cannot change a deed restriction.
Even if they pass.
It's my understanding that you cannot change a deed restriction, period.
How about on your own, willy-nilly, / however? Can you go to court maybe?
I don't think so.
You think that would hold up
No.
there too? Okay, but yeah, I know you can't just go, he died, so I'm taking that out.
Yeah.
No.
The only person who can change a deed restriction is the person who wrote it, and if they pass away, it's over. I have a lot of examples, but this is important because, it's important to really look into the condition of these properties before you buy them. Mm-hmm. It's so infrequent that there's problems, but obviously this one could be a potential problem. So what is it? What is a deed restriction? So if you own a piece of property and you heavily believe in some cause, I'm using an example. Let's say trees are living things too. That's your cause in life?
Perfect.
Just like what this
Sounds
person
like
maybe
here.
have had that. So this person does not want this property that they own, or anyone who ever owns it, to cut the trees down. And so that's a deed restriction. You can buy it. Anybody can buy it.
You can camp on it and love it.
Yep. You can hug the trees.
Yes, you can. You can decorate them at Christmas time.
And you can't develop it in any way.
Right.
And that could be construed as a lot of stuff. So, and so there's two ways to look at this. Good for this guy. He's left his legacy. Mm-hmm. And the other way you can look at it is, well, that's a piece of useless property now.
I don't know. Then I go back to, I might be okay with that.
Think about Central Park in New York.
Gorgeous. It might be gorgeous, heavily treed, wooded, dreamy view for someone to camp on every weekend.
Yeah.
And not develop. I think that's okay.
Well, like I said, there's two ways to look at it. That's one way, or another way is that guy wrecked the value of this property forever.
Or that.
I'm just saying, I don't care which one you believe in.
Right.
I don't even know which one I believe in. Actually, I haven't thought about it. But I'll tell you, here's a good example.
That's made me think of all kinds of things. Let's talk about our beliefs. No, just kidding.
Here's a good example of a deed restriction. There's a train park for little kids in the middle of Scottsdale, and some of the highest valued property in the state of Arizona, if not the highest. It's 40 acres. It's called the McCormick-Stillman Railroad Park. 40 acres for little kids to ride around on, and it costs $1 to ride the train. When our kids were little, we used to take them there all the time. And so every 3 or 4 or 5 years, you read in the paper, you hear on the news that somebody bought the property and they're going to put condos in there. And we all laugh and say, oh, this reporter doesn't know what they're talking about. And then a month later it comes out, oh yeah, there's a deed restriction on this property. And the guy was railroad nuts and he loved little kids. And so he made a trade park, and it's going to be a train park for forever.
Exactly.
So it's deed restricted, and that's it.
Right. This is a good example, too, the trees one. So I'm glad he found that. And I'm glad he knows what he's doing.
Me too.
And he paused. He paused to go, let me check this out. That was perfect.
You know what? It might be fun if the price is right to buy that thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. And just say I own deed restricted property. Because it can't ever be anything else, ever.
I'm kind of curious about how big it is.
Yeah.
You know, and it would be kind of cool. I don't care what happens around there, but this piece of land is always going to be like this, just like this.
Like Central Park.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that happened. It probably didn't with Central Park, but it's like, if that got built up around it, it'd be then it'd just be cool.
Exactly. So, good.
Hey, if you have a question or you want to be on the show, reach out to either one of us on landinvestors.com. Today's topic, how to buy your dream property. You know, I didn't. My dream property is one I'd buy for $10,000 and sell it for $20,000. But I think Jill wrote the show with a different idea in mind. Let's find out.
This is for the folks that come our way that say, hey, I don't want to invest. I don't want to do this. I don't really want to flip. I don't want to do it. Can you help me? I just want to get my cabin. I want my second home, or I want my first home. I want my primary residence. I want to live over here. Does this work? Heck yes. So that's it. And you know what's funny about this? I'm gonna sneak a little something in here. Seth Williams reviewed our program recently, and that's about to come out, and I was just watching his take on it today, and one of the things he said was complimenting you and I, Jack. You don't even know this.
Yeah, I don't
even know. He's like, where are you going? He's like, oh no, the look on his face is like, uh-oh. No, Seth gave us a really nice compliment in his review saying, man, the way Jack and Jill do it, if you just want that certain dream, that one little type of property, that size, the acreage, the price point, they are the pros at that. And I'm like, yeah, he's right. And that came, I just saw that today, and I wrote this title 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, that's true. The whole point of everything that we do is you're reaching sellers, but you're reaching the sellers you want with the property that you want in the county and the size. And boy, if you want to drill it down to within a mile of an intersection, we have that data too. Jack?
Yeah, you can really, I mean, you're right. And I never looked at it that way, because I apply it to trying to buy property inexpensively and reselling it, knowing what it's worth long before the process even begins. So, but you could really, really look at the data that way. You know, creative use of this data, and buy yourself a pretty darn cool house or a cool piece of land to build a house on, or any of that.
How about the guy that you talked to on a consulting call a couple days, like earlier this week, that you said he has all these buyers that do this auction thing, and they are looking for a real specific property type in a real specific area, because they know to come in and blade it and cut it up and all that. Yeah,
because that's a perfect example. So that's his dream property. So, you know, he's got a slew of buyers for a lot of reasons that really they try to find and buy large acreage property, thousands and thousands of acres, and then subdivide it or parcel split it out, get some roads in there, and market and sell it, whether sell it on terms or sell it for cash, or it's been happening since the beginning of time. But the way the data is now, what's different now is you really can identify every property type, every dream property type, there's a universe of properties, right? There's a finite number. That's what you can do with this data.
Mm-hmm. You know, here's a funny story, kind of what we've personally done too. Like, I love Big Bear. Growing up here, that's always where we used to go, play in the snow in the wintertime, pretty cabins, cool, real close drive. Have Jack and I sought out, kind of for me, because it was fun, seeking out the San Bernardino County property, the right size, the right price. And you know what? When it's the right size and the right price and in the right area, I'll buy them all. Seriously, not kidding. I'll buy all 10 of them.
I know you will.
I'll buy 10 or 20, pick out the one I want, sell the other ones, and it paid for the one I want to keep, and then some. So we have people that do that.
We do. We have people who started careers because they bought the program just to buy one piece of property to live on and realized, how easy it was. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know people that, it's funny you say that, because there was a guy that I don't know if it was you talked to him or I talked to him, but some investor from way back that he keeps trying to get out of this business, but he can't.
It was you.
Like, he's retired.
I remember that.
Yeah, he's like retired. He's like, I don't really even want to do this, but when these people call me and they have these great deals, I have to buy it. And it was just like so funny. He's like, this is not what I'm trying to do, but I'm not going to turn down some good cash. I'm like, that's great.
That's hilarious, actually.
So I hope that. Do you think that answers it? I mean, we can.
Yeah. I want to know what your dream property is, though, because I thought this was like a mansion in the hills or something.
Oh no! It's for personal preference for everyone. What if it's a little a Walk Street beach house? I don't know.
Is that your dream
Maybe
property?
That's my dream property.
I think it is.
Okay, that's my dream property. So.
Well, you'd use a mapping function in RealQuest for that. So yeah, you can absolutely,
Bingo.
Go through and click on the ones that you want to receive offers and for how much.
Exactly. And I could sit there, by the way, and pick out the ones that don't have a mortgage. I could even put in some, if you're really, here's another thing I don't think people realize. Not only can I get down to the intersection and everything, I can pick out specifics on a property like 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. No pool. You could sit there. Our data is that detailed that I could.
Well, it's every single piece of property that's in a county.
Mm-hmm. I could pick exactly what I want.
So it's all how you then see that data. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of ways you can see it that are provided in there now. Mapping functions and things like that. But we're always developing new ones based on requests. So, one of the ones that we're working on right now that is I think it's done. I've used it a few times is circumference.
Mm-hmm.
Going a mile out from the center of a property.
There.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It is right. It is in there.
Mm-hmm.
So
isn't that great?
There's a million ways to dream up buying inexpensive property and then reselling it to people that are around that are in the immediate area.
Mm-hmm. You could put in subdivision. It's endless. People just don't realize it. They sit there looking at an area. Like, I think flippers do this. I imagine them sitting in a neighborhood going, wow, this is a perfect neighborhood to do a bunch of flips. If I could get the addresses to everybody in this area without a mortgage who has anything between 3 and 5 bedrooms and no pool, because that was a nightmare the time we flipped one of those, and I want this, that. And I'm like, great, I can have that to you in 5 minutes.
I know.
And they go, what? They don't get it.
I know.
I'm like, yes, give me 5 minutes. I'll have that list.
This is why driving for dollars is so silly.
Right.
Because you don't ever want to buy a piece of property based on what it looks like. Exactly. Even if it is your dream property.
Exactly.
You want to have 15 or 20 or 30 or 40 choices and then pick
choose from. Exactly.
Yesterday we did a show about why real estate agents are obsolete. That wasn't the title, but that's what I think of it. Mm-hmm. This is why, what we're talking about.
Exactly.
You can find any property you want to buy, and you can reach the number of people, if you're a seller, just using this data.
Thank you.
It's just not made to be incredibly simple yet, which is one of the things we're working on.
Exactly.
Join us in another episode where Jack and Jill discuss how to use information, that's me,
and inspiration, that's me,
to get just about anything you want.
We use it every day to buy property for half of what it's worth and sell it immediately.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
Hey, I think you're liking my topics. I think I'm surprising you with my topics.
I love your topics.
Thank you.
I love your topic.
Thank you. This is, you're so silly. Thank you. Oh, no. Oh, boy, here it goes. Boy, you hung in there for several minutes. How long are you holding on to that?
No.
Okay.
Just topic.
Thank you. You have a good-looking topic,
I thought a dream property was going to be like some girly thing, like a little house in the hills, and you can find it and the whole thing.
You know me better than that.
I know. Sometimes, though, you get all girly on me. It's not very often.
Got it. Oh, okay. I know you like it when I get girly.
Oh, right. I wake up wondering if she's going to be girly today.
Oh, gosh.
I'm going to end it on that. She can't, this desk that we're working on, she can't kick me under. It's too far. Information and inspiration to buy undervalued property.
We are Jack and Jill, and this was the Cash Flow from Land Show.
We are the experts at acquiring property
Of all kinds, not just land.
for half price, just so we can flip it for way more.
And really fast. Thanks for listening.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.